Hi, so I've decided to add a commentary track just briefly to the start of this because essentially when I am doing the second video where I'm doing the Annin Tofu challenge and not the Flan challenge which I start out with here, uh, basically, I got a phone call and it lasted for 4 minutes 15 seconds, and I left the game on the in-game menu during that time, and it added to my total time because I hadn't actually just used the regular pause. Mainly because I think I just started to heal and then straight away got the phone call, and well, I kind of assumed I'd be back to the game quicker than I was. Uh, so there is quite an obvious split that comes around 16 minutes and 59 seconds, I think it is. And anyway, you'll notice the little cut when it happens. And yeah, I come back and I still have the same health, same items and everything. I just wish I'd actually used the proper pause and not lost 4 minutes 15 in the time. But you know what? I'm just glad I actually done the Annin Tofu one. It is the one that took me the most time, other than the initial hunk run, obviously, and that did take me quite a bit of time to figure out what I was supposed to be doing, really, the best way to start dodging things, and I didn't really do that good on the video where I did beat it. But again, I was just glad to actually beat it at all, and I was really surprised that I done Tofu's as quick as I did. The knife counter attacks really helped for him. Sheer amount of knives he has, obviously, that he can just keep doing that. That doesn't mean it's easy by any stretch of the means. The playthrough with Cognac and the Yurio Mochi, they were both pretty fun, and using the techniques that I'd got from the Tofu playthrough, then kind of just knew how to avoid things. I didn't really know how to do that with Hunk, as I said. I was making a lot of sloppy mistakes with Hunk, and now looking back I can see how I could have avoided certain rooms. Just could have taken literally no damage at all using him, but oh well. This playthrough using Flan is really kind of dreadful. I know I could have done a hell of a lot better. I kind of take it slow and methodically because again I just wanted to actually beat each one of these here challenges, because you know they're not exactly the easiest thing, unless you're really good at speedrunning, which I am not. As I mentioned, I left the game paused in the wrong menu for 4 minutes 15 seconds, so I wasn't going to be getting a great in-game time from that, and I'm just no speedrunner anyway. But just beating these challenges, since they're kind of tough, that's enough for me. I'm quite pleased. I'm actually kind of amazed that I beat that Annin Tofu one though. This here playthrough with Flan though, like I said, given the fact that you get all these here great weapons, well, except for the spark gun, but I find that, yeah, I was surprised to see that guy there, for instance. Normally he's a bit further on, but further around here, but basically I think because I actually was using the spark shot to kill those there G offspring enemies, basically he had wandered around a bit longer. But yeah, the spark shot, although I don't really like using it at all, you can just hit an enemy for a quick stun with it rather than using it to kill, and that's probably its best use. This room gave me loads of fucking grief, and now I know how to run through it where 99% of the time, or at least a good 90% of the time, you can run through that room and not a single enemy can get you. So instead I waste a lot of time individually mowing down each enemy with the minigun. But again, I was kind of like playing it safe, because when you play as Flan you get, what, literally no heals whatsoever. So that ain't exactly great. Like I said, that was a complete waste of time. So we're coming up to the rim of the liquor here. Normally what I do is run along and hug the left wall, and he'll go about 80% of the time or so for jump and slash, and it sails right past your head, and then you run up to the fence, and if you got it done right, he's going to come at you with a running, lunging slash, and you can just about avoid it and then run past your zombie. Instead, I tried to fight him with a stun gun here, and I'm kind of lucky I didn't get hit, but I managed to shoot him out of the air, which was really lucky. I was doing some pathetic aiming, but yeah, I got past him. Most of the time though, I'd say just try to dodge him. You can get through most of the time without getting hit. Those zombies you can always get by without getting hit as well. And we're coming up to the room with the dogs and the zombies, and you can usually run through this one without getting hit. The odd time one of the dogs will tag you just as you hit the ladder, but most of the time you'll get through it without getting hit. Kind of just weave yourself through the ones that are eating the other dude on the floor. So coming up to this next room that's full of the zombie horde, you take the path on the right, and you can actually just shoot this first one in the leg and then run your way through the middle. I didn't really have that technique down at this point, but it's definitely the best way to go. Good thing I had a minigun though. I was trying to play it safe, like I said. Unfortunately, I didn't do that very well. This next room, I always take this one really slowly. Like I said, I'm not really a speedrunner, I'm just trying to survive, so if you do walk in here, well, pretty much I've never been tagged by the licker whatsoever. You don't really have to run at the end there even, I just end up doing it. This next room, it's Mr. Big, and well, I completely wasted a rocket. I thought since he turns into the Super Tyrant, you know, maybe if you hit him with the rocket here, that would put him out of commission, but no, well, it makes him fall to his knees, but that's about it, and it's a complete waste of a rocket, so don't do that. Don't waste your rockets like that.
What the hell, hunk? You're late for extraction. Heads up. The guys at the top just ordered a full cleanup on Raccoon City, so move fast, or you can kiss your ass goodbye. Time's up.
Oh, God.
I'm not gonna just leave you. God damn it. wanted to meet the Grim Reaper.
So the start of this here Annin Tofu run is a bit of a disaster, unfortunately. I managed to get hit by one of these zombies here. Normally I would run to the right and most of the time I'll get through without getting a hit. But this time I take a hit, and why I didn't quit and restart I don't know, but I'm glad I didn't, given the fact that it ended up being the winning playthrough. But yeah, normally you can sail past there and nobody gets you. I've seen other people in videos tend to prefer to run behind the first two zombies, so behind the woman one first, but I find it kind of tricky to get it to work. Like when it does work, you always get past them without getting hit. But no, most of the time I seem to always get bagged by them, so I'm not really sure what the technique is. I just don't seem to get it right anyway, so I find going to the right works, and it's fairly reliable. Like I said, I think it's about, I'd say about 4 times out of 5 you're gonna get by okay. In this here room with the dogs, I can always get through here just by running towards that fence, and that one always, the dog always leaps into the fence and I get by okay. This next room is always a complete disaster for me. I don't really know how you're supposed to get through here reliably, and I do it remarkably poorly this here time, getting bagged by multiple dogs. Yeah, this could go a hell of a lot better. For instance, not having to kill this guy to get the knife back. But essentially, if you want to have an easier time at the very, very end of this here run, you really need that knife. And I'm down to danger health. Again, I'm amazed I didn't just pause and quit at this stage, but I managed to get through. And I got through this next room without getting hit as well. The zombie at the bottom of the stairs, no problem obviously. But it's when you go into this room where the rising zombies are. I used to always get bagged by at least one. Usually this guy that's actually already standing up. But I found if you run right here and just shoot out his legs, it always works. So I think I find that every time from when I discovered that little trick, it always worked. That you can run through that area without getting hit. And then that allows me to go up to here where the G monsters are. Basically that means that I can use the combination of the red herb, of the blue herb and a green herb, so I'm back to full health. And not only that, but you get that there slight shielding from damage. Yeah, these guys will only ever poison you. There's no point counter-attacking them given that you've only got the one knife. And this is the time to use the blue herb, because it's the only time one of these guys is going to grab you, and as far as I'm aware there's no reliable way to run through this room without getting poisoned. So, aside from being a little disorientated and facing the wrong direction there, I do manage to get by these guys without getting a second hit, and thank God, because if they grabbed and poisoned you again, that's the run over. I believe this time round the zombie at the top of the stairs, the heavily armored zombie, is in his regular place, so you can just sort of bait him and sail right past him. Normally. Except this time he actually hit me. So, he's made a liar out of me. But that's one of the few times he's ever actually got me, and it's kind of embarrassing that he happened to get it on my winning Annin Tofu playthrough, but there you go. And when I said about running through this next room without getting hit by the zombies, I think this works out for me this time. So you just want to more or less head straight ahead, and then you see that guy, start heading towards that sign essentially, and most of the time you're getting through without getting hit. And here comes the liquor without going for combat. And I think I still take a hit here anyway, because he runs up and tongues me in the face, if I remember right. No, he goes for a slash. Okay. He'll usually either run up and tongue you in the face. Most of the time he'll go for the jump and slash, but that time he managed to hit me. And I had to stun that guy or he's going to bite you. And then this guy's going to be up already and you're going to have difficulties getting past him. This next zombie though is never any trouble whatsoever. And I've already talked about the dogs and stuff. And we'll be seeing that room where all the zombies are, and the quickest way to get through, where you just shoot the first zombie in the legs and then weave your way through. And I think I do that fairly well here from what I remember. yeah, that went alright. Again, I take it slow in here. I know speedrunners would probably be disgusted with this here, but for me, it works all the time, so why not? Next we're coming up to Mr. X, or Mr. Big as I always call him. And, well, you can just shoot him in the face, and if you've shot his head off already, shoot him in the face actually will stun him for a few seconds and get by very easily. Instead he punches me there. And I had probably thought this run was over around this stage, but I carried on, and here's where I paused to use health, and my mum called, and well, we're coming up to the split. And yeah, that was 4 minutes 15 seconds. Well, as I said, you can see that I've got the same amount of damage and everything, so unfortunately it was just a bunch of wasted time. This room, well, you can again take the left path, and sometimes the zombies are aligned in such a way that you can run past them all without getting hit. But, well, that doesn't really work out for me here. I take the right path, because most of the time the right path worked out for me, but didn't that time. And I thought Mr. Big had actually helped me by punching me forward, but then the other zombie grabbed me from behind. It's always safer to stun that guy, because you're not guaranteed to get through that door without him grabbing you. And again, this guy, safer just to take him out. At this point, I'm going to take it very slowly, because there's the liquor in the next room, and I also want Mr. Big to follow me, because it seems as though if he follows you around here, he's got a chance of just not appearing on the upper balcony, where he's much more difficult. If he's chasing you here, it's fine. You can get through these zombies relatively easily, although I do a fairly poor job of it there. But if you get it where Mr. Big is up there on the balcony as well, well, that's not so good. Although I think he actually caught up with me there and managed to knock me out of the zombie grabbing me, which is good, because I probably would have instinctively hit the knife button and then not had it for the last area, which would have been really bad. If you manage to hit these guys in the orbs, they usually start to do that flail about where they can't actually hit you, so yeah, just take it slow. Pop their orbs, and while they're doing their random flail, get through. Normally if you run straight up to this door, this guy bursts through and you can just run straight past him, like in my Flan playthrough. And of course, given that that is my Annin Tofu run, that didn't happen this time, but somehow I managed to get through this, so I don't know. It all seems to be a bit RNG sometimes. This here room I've never got hit in. I don't know if anybody ever has. You just run through it at full pelt, ignore the dog since it's ignoring you. I've seen a lot of people use the knife here, but I need the knife for the end personally, so I prefer just to basically get munched on since I've got enough health items. I like the way he floated in the air there. But I think I just about managed to run through these cretins without being grabbed. This liquor here, most of the time when I hugged the right wall, he would always do that there run up slash and completely miss me, kind of like that there. But the last few times that I had tried before this here winning run, he had started to run up and just use his tongue in the face, but most of the time that doesn't really do a lot of damage, so you're fine. Again, you can run through this here room. I think it's impossible to actually get hit if you just run forward. The G monster always misses you. I think there's a dog there, and again, it's not up in time to get you. This is a room that I do slowly once again, because there's liquors, and there's also the zombies right beside the door, and I find that if you walk yourself over here slowly and just run through the door, the zombies can't grab you and the liquors don't get you. And Mr. Big's not coming quick enough to get me either. And this is coming up to the part where all of my runs previously ended, or a lot of my runs previously ended anyway. Getting through this fucking place is a total nightmare. And well, for me, having the knife made it considerably easier. I ran straight up to this here plant guy, and I wanted him to grab me so that I could do the counter attack, and then during the middle of that there, it seems as though the enemies must get a brief stun, and I was able to run through the rest of them. I didn't know until actually doing these playthroughs that these plant monsters, if they grab you, it's a one-hit kill, and yeah, that's how about 6 of my runs at this Annin Tofu run ended. But there you go. That's me through. Started out really poorly, but I got real lucky at the end. And yeah, had plenty of health herbs left, whereas normally I was here with 2 at most and would be grabbed by the plant and instantly killed. But hey, cheers for watching.